Okay, welcome everybody. Hope you've had a good lunch break and welcome back to the 1:30 session of the Utah Elder Justice Conference. I'm Marianne Christensen. I'm with Salt Lake County Aging and Adult Services, which is the host agency for the conference this year. The session you're in is called Smashing the Stereotype, Using Technology to Fight Isolation Among Utah Seniors. So we're just going to jump in. We're going to turn the time first to Christina, and then the presenters will just introduce themselves as they go. So take it away, Christina.
All right, sorry about that. Had a little technical glitch getting unmuted, but we are just going to jump right in here. Oh, it's taking a minute to get my screen share to load. Be patient with us for just a minute. We will get this pulled up here. Okay, so I'm not sure what you're seeing here. Amanda, if you can let me know if you're seeing the right thing.
Yes, it looks like it's a split screen that I'm seeing.
Okay, we should only be seeing one side, so let me, whoops. See if I can enter just 1 minute. See if it will let me enter full screen mode here. Okay, now you should be seeing the full screen, right?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, perfect. Takes a second to get everything ready. All right, so hi everyone. I hope you're enjoying the conference so far. I know I've had the opportunity to attend many great sessions today, and so first I'd like to thank this year's conference team for all of their hard work to make today possible. I'd also like to thank each of you for joining myself and my co-presenters for this session today. My name is Christina Rayner, and I've been with AAA 5 County since 2015. I hold a master's degree in public administration, and I'm a certified dementia specialist. Primarily, I serve as our lead long-term care ombudsman and lead for our benefits enrollment center, as well as our media outreach, which is what brings me here today. At AAA 5 County, the impact of COVID-19 not only changed our immediate response and how we approach our perspective to engagement with older adults, but also how we focus as an agency. So my presentation today will focus on how we turn the challenges that we've all been faced with because of COVID-19 into an opportunity to not just adapt, but to identify new and improved ways of engagement for years to come. Through addressing difficulties found in technologies and using virtual programming that have been implemented or developed, as well as the impact that we've seen over this year with our older adult population. So I hope to encourage you to help to combat social isolation through embracing and incorporating virtual interaction into your service delivery now and into the future. So what have we done? Over the past year, we have developed not only our virtual presence, but also resources to educate older adults about our virtual resources and how to access and utilize them. This has included the development and launch of 2 websites, the development of social media platforms, including a Facebook page and group, YouTube, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. These platforms have helped to advertise and house our virtual conferences and webinars, as well as other virtual events, of course. Though none of these are useful unless their aim to help access them. So with that in mind, we also developed a technology training program. We'll dive into each of these a little more. So our websites. In order to better serve our community by making information and resources more accessible, we have created 2 websites. The first is our main website. On this site, visitors will find information about our programs, how to get involved, including joining events and volunteering, as well as a weekly blog and a portal to our monthly newsletter. Additionally, viewers can find out more about who we are and what we do. It provides many links for visitors to contact us also. Our Seniors Conference website was built only a few months ago. In the months preceding this year's Seniors Conference, it allows us to house our agenda, speaker, and sponsor information, as well as promos in one convenient place. So we were able to use this website to post everything, and now that we are post-conference, we were able to put the sessions live on our website so people can view those for forever to come. Okay, and then social media platforms. So we have delved into many different social media platforms over the past year. The first, we have found through providing information and resources on Facebook, Pinterest, and YouTube. We widen our reach and educate and foster connection across our aging caregiver communities. Primarily, we utilize our Facebook page, where we have a daily post with a variety of different formattings, including photos, GIFs, videos, and more. We find that if we keep a variety, it keeps our followers engaged and coming back each day. Our Pinterest page includes a variety of boards on a wide range of topics. Some of these are related to aging in place, caregiver, resources, and dementia education, and many, many more. Our YouTube channel has become a virtual options counseling platform. It houses videos from program overviews to volunteer recognitions. We also have put together self-care related videos to help our caregivers and everyone really to navigate the recent stressful times. Also popular are our Walk with Ease videos that allow participants to walk in a self-directed format of the program. We are continually amazed at the reach that these platforms have grown, and the numbers do not at all outshine the wonderful feedback we get from our seniors and caregivers who appreciate these resources. We have also, over the past year, transitioned nearly all of our evidence-based programs and caregiver education series classes into a virtual setting. While this new way of learning has not always been easy, the feedback we've gotten has been generally positive. By providing classes this way, we've been able to increase the inclusion of our reach. Many who would not have been willing or able to participate in programming have joined us virtually. So we've had many caregivers, for example, who normally wouldn't have felt comfortable leaving their loved one or their care receiver at home to attend a class. And from them, we have gotten great feedback on their excitement and gratitude to be able to attend without feeling like they're leaving their loved one behind. So moving forward, we plan to continue our virtual program to be more holistically available throughout our community. We have also created a virtual support group. For over a year, one of our SSW case management staff has facilitated the support group. It meets weekly on Zoom. We call it Tea Time with Sherry, and the Tea Time group has really formed a strong and lasting bond with one another by providing mutual support to each other during this weekly meeting and outside of this weekly meeting as needed. So this has been one really great virtual resource that we've been able to provide. Conferences and webinars. A lot of you attended the Southern Utah Seniors Conference virtually last week, and we were grateful to have such a good turnout for that. This event has been a staple in our community for almost 20 years now. So last year, when we needed to cancel it, we decided that the show must go on, and we made it virtual. There was great feedback from that. So this year, we've decided to also hold it virtually. And again, there was great feedback. It was a very great event with some wonderful speakers. From there, we decided that having only one opportunity to host speakers a year just wasn't enough. So we've started a spin-off series called the Southern Utah Lecture Series. Our first event was with Paul Greenwood. I know some of you had the opportunity to attend that as well. And as always, Paul wowed us. And we're excited now to have a lineup for the next 6 months of wonderful speakers on a variety of great topics. We'd love to see you all there. And we hope that you will help share this opportunity with those you serve. And we realize that, of course, none of this is possible without educating our older adults on how to use the technology. So with that in mind, we partnered with the team at Utah Assistive Technology Program to create a training program. And they went ahead and created a step-by-step guide to approach how to use Zoom and Google Meet. From there, we developed that into a step-by-step video series, which we then have disseminated down through a train the trainer type program. So we first trained our county coordinators, who trained their staff, and volunteers who have now started training their seniors and the adults who attend their senior centers. Overall, we have seen great success with this program, people learning things that they didn't know how to do before and being able to be more virtually engaged because of it. We house all of these guides and their videos in a Google Classroom, so it's easy for any of our senior center staff or volunteers to access to do either a large training or a one-on-one training. And I've just put in a little quote here, but I'm going to try to switch and hope this lets me click this link. Oh, it's going to. Okay, so hoping you can all see my Facebook page right now.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So you're seeing a photo on the screen, and this is a couple of family members of one of our staff members. Deborah Sullivan is a case manager with our agency, and like all of us, she has many roles, including that of a daughter, mother, and sister. For the last several years, Deborah and her sister Anne served as caregivers for their mother, Shirley. Shirley was on hospice, and as it became clear that the end of life was near, Deborah and her family started making plans to say goodbye. Deborah's daughter, Sarah, is currently serving an LDS mission in Ohio and couldn't be home to say goodbye to her beloved grandmother. The family decided to embrace technology so that Sarah could say a proper goodbye. Both Shirley and Sarah were uplifted as they shared a heartfelt goodbye over Facebook Messenger. Technology can be a wonderful tool in the end-of-life process. With many families spread all over great distances, many are unable to be in person for times like these. So in this case, these two that you see on your screen, Shirley and Sarah, were able to say a final I love you and a final goodbye by embracing technology. So to close, I just want to note how we make this all happen. We have assembled a team of our staff members as our media team. These wonderful people go above and beyond their regular duties and come together to make our virtual outreach and programming a reality. Our team meets once a month to go over what went well, what could have gone better, and to plan the next month's virtual outreach, including social media, blog posts, newsletter content, virtual classes, and more. We communicate through the month by using Microsoft Teams, and we use Canva, which is an awesome content creator, and we highly recommend you check it out. Finally, we believe that we're all in this together, so please feel free to visit our platforms and share anything you'd like. You should see a list in your Q&A section, which I'm not seeing yet, but I will drop that in there, of our links so that you can check out the resources I've shared today. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'll have time for Q&A at the end of the session, but also we're happy to help and answer any questions at any time that you may have them in the future. So now for more about the technology that makes this all possible, I'll turn the time over to the Utah Assistive Technology Program. So ladies, the time is yours.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. And I really appreciate Christina's her presentation on really how they did smash the stereotypes. At UATP, we focus a lot on the technology, but very often we hear that seniors just aren't going to use it. And it is so nice to know that I think so often what we forget is the motivation. When we're talking about connecting with loved ones and family members, the technology really is important, and people will adapt to it and learn it in a lot of instances. So I'm going to try. I don't see an option to share my screen yet.
Amanda, if you would switch over to her to be able to share to Jolynn, please.
While they're doing that, I'll introduce myself. I do PR and marketing for the Utah Assistive Technology Program. So we connect people to the assistive technology that they need. And the goal is to help people be independent or to regain independence or maintain it. And this can be done with something as simple as a homemade PVC device, or, it goes the whole gamut to very high-tech items or apps. So any of that is considered assistive technology. We do our best to connect people either through information or we allow people to demonstrate our equipment and figure out if it's right for them. We'll lend it to them for a while. We have a program that helps repurpose the assistive technology that one owner may have so that another owner can use it, maybe with some refurbishment, sorry. And so we do that so that people will be able to have access to assistive technology. It can be very expensive. Having a disability or aging can be very expensive. And another thing that we do is provide assistive technology small grants and loans. So the small grants are up to $500 and the loans are, I believe, up to $30,000, but that can be used for the purchase of assistive technology. We've done a lot of like grab bars and railings, and we've even done iPads that are used as communication devices. We also allow the larger loans help with vans that are adapted for wheelchair use or home modifications, all of those things. I'm still not seeing an option to share my screen.
Let's see here. So I've made you the presenter. Let's see what's going on.
While she's doing that, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I have a bachelor's in political science and journalism. That got me really interested in sharing information, and so I have been doing that for a very long time. I haven't sat down and counted up the years. There were some motherhood years in between, but anyway, that's what I do now. So.
I
And at the
apologize.
bottom,
Let's see.
at the bottom of your screen, Jolene, do you see a little pull up? It's like a little V where you can, it says show control bar.
No, I've got a share option, but it's grayed out.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a hold of Justin, so just one moment, stand by.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, while we're waiting, I'll just let everyone know that we do have some resources that will help you if you want to get started. What I'm going to focus a lot of my presentation on is the actual accessibility of some of these communication platforms. Mostly we'll be focusing on ones that help people who may have some hearing difficulties. We'll be sharing some resources. I've got a box folder and a link that everyone should be able to access. And that's got some handouts in it and some other links that will help you get started or find out more about accessibility. And in the presentation, we'll talk about why that's important.
Okay, perfect. Justin is jumping on to see if he
Okay.
can help us.
Jolene, my apologies. Were you click that share button? Are you on a Mac?
Yes.
Okay. When you click that share button, does it tell you to open your system preferences?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Unfortunately, you weren't with us in our practice session, right?
No.
Okay.
Oh, so screen recording.
Yep, there you go. Unfortunately, it's probably going to ask you to kick out.
It doesn't.
Let's have Amanda, do you mind opening her presentation and you can share it? The Mac takes a little while to get set up.
Sure thing. Let's see.
Thank
I
you.
have it. Okay, Justin, I have it pulled up, I believe.
And then you're gonna steal the presentation from her so that you can present. You're gonna.
Okay, so. Okay, is this the correct?
Okay, then down below you're gonna hit share.
And that is the former one.
Okay, this is
Did we get a copy of your presentation, Jolene?
You did get one, yes.
okay, let's see.
If you make me the presenter, I can share the PowerPoint.
how do I'm sorry, let's see. Ah,
And
Justin.
then you can drag it down to Bora Lee, and it'll just automatically stop sharing if you want to make her the host. I mean the presenter.
Okay, and
So yep, there you go, and then Bora
okay.
Lee can take over. And then Bora Lee at the top, you'll hit on swap displays, and then that way we can see just the slideshow. There you go, perfect. Okay.
Great, thank you. So we've already talked a little bit about the Utah Assistive Technology Program and what it does. With accessibility, there are actually many things that go into that. And so I don't want to leave you with the impression that the things that we talk about today are universally accessible. I think the good news is that a lot of companies have started to bake accessibility into their platforms, but there's still a long way to go. And something that may work for a person with a hearing disability right out of the box may still need some tweaking or not be accessible at all to someone who is blind, for example. And in fact, we did an information campaign at the end of last year. I'm hoping some of you heard a video where we talked about how it's possible to play games with people who are quite far away using apps and other technology, and that's all true. And my family has done this. We're big Balderdash fans, and there's a game called Psych that's really similar to Balderdash. It was really fun for us to play that with our own family, but I have a brother-in-law who is blind, and it did not work for him at all. So that's just something to bear in mind as you start to adapt some of these apps and games and platforms, is that accessibility can be an issue. Bora, I can only see
Yes,
a very small
Bora,
version.
if you could switch the PowerPoint to full screen, Bora, and then start it
Okay.
from slide 1.
Slide 1. Okay.
Yeah, or swap monitors. There.
There,
you-
perfect. Okay, that's exactly where we want to be. So I did want to emphasize that I think something, especially with the senior population, that we run into a lot, but it's not just seniors. Not everybody is going to tell you that they need captions or some kind of adaptation. And that doesn't need to be a big deal. You can just offer them to everybody. Can you go back a couple slides, Laura?
Go back.
Yes.
Oh. Is it this one?
Yes. Yes. So not everybody's going to tell you that they need those captions. If you make them available, they'll be there and everyone can benefit. I think we've all been in a situation where maybe the audio has been really difficult or there's been a lot of background noise. And in those situations, everyone benefits from those captions. So let's go to the next slide.
And Bora, you can do it in the bottom.
Okay. So some advice from the experts when we're using captions and some of these platforms. Google Meet was really the preferred platform when we talked to some people with the services for the deaf and hard of hearing. They also really encouraged us to raise our hands because those platforms don't know how to handle the captions when more than one person is talking. And so it was really important, especially with that group, to make sure that only one person talks at a time. So let's go to the next slide. Can we advance to the next slide, please? So yes, if you need more information, the Division of Services for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, they're wonderful. They've actually been providing a lot more services in rural Utah over the last 12 months because everybody's kind of been forced into this technology thing. And so people who are maybe a little more hesitant to get those services online have started to do it. And so they are able to reach you even if you're not face to face. And that's kind of a silver lining, I think, for this whole COVID situation that we've been in. Bora, can you go back one from this? Okay, so a brief look at apps with captioning. Google Meet really was the one that I heard talked up quite a bit with the Division of Services for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. It does have a mute and camera button that do not disappear. I don't know if this is an issue for other people. For me, I've really appreciated that. I hate fumbling for those buttons. I also hate forgetting whether I'm muted or not, and that has happened to me. So this is a good way to avoid that. There is a free version. It has some limitations. It's best if you do have a Google account. So we'll move on to Google Hangouts. It's free. I kind of wondered if this was even still a thing. It was really big for a while, but it was not. It was not.
Sorry, Jolynn. Let's have you go
Yeah.
back to Bora Lee where that was before in the full screen. Go to slideshow and then do full screen. Okay, right there. And then in the bottom left, you can change the slides in the bottom left. There you go, just like that.
Okay. So the Google Hangouts were really big there for a while, and then you just didn't hear about it anymore. I wondered if it had gone away, but it is still a thing. And I think in some ways it's better than Facebook Messenger, although Facebook Messenger is definitely a lot better known. You can share photos and chat via text. You are going to be limited to 25 users. But that's another option if it's something that people are more comfortable with and if they want to also share the photos and chat as well as have that face-to-face conversation. And of course, the captions are still there. Okay, next slide. Skype is free to Microsoft users. That usually means if you have a Hotmail or Outlook email account, you'll be able to access Skype. This one really confused me for a while. I had the old Skype account, and when Microsoft took over, it took me a while to figure out how to still make it work. But I was able to still get onto Skype. Some advantages with this one is that you can record a conversation and you can share your screen with up to 50 participants. So they all have their different strengths and weaknesses. And I should emphasize here that we're speaking of a snapshot in time. These platforms are always changing. And so I'm giving you the most up-to-date information that I have, but they update a lot, they change a lot, and usually for the better, especially when it comes to accessibility. Okay, let's go to the next one. Microsoft Teams is a lot more business oriented. It might be frustrating for people if they're not, in that business environment. It does have a lot more built-in business type stuff. It does have built-in live captioning, even on the free version. And there's no time limit, even on the free account, for up to 100 people. So it is a pretty powerful program, maybe not the most intuitive. Okay, if we can go to the next. Could we advance to the next slide?
And to change slides, Bora Lee, it's at the bottom left of the full screen presentation, the bottom left.
Great. And I believe this is Marilyn's portion, so I'm going to cede my video and mic to her.
And Marilyn, you'll have the unmute down below, but we'll have Amanda unmute you also.
Thank you. I could not get that to unmute. Back to the slide, that would be great.
I'm sorry, is there a way for me to not share the full screen, but for them to be able to see the PowerPoint?
Yeah, we did have you see the PowerPoint for a good portion of that. You have to share the screen that has are you sharing it for Marilyn also?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have Amanda put you back as the presenter then.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience. Sorry about the technical.
Okay, now you can share the screen, Laura. Bora, is this a new PowerPoint or is this the same PowerPoint that you started with?
It is the same PowerPoint.
Okay, let's have Amanda. Do you want to share that PowerPoint that began with Bora, and then we can advance the slides that way? Can you hear us, Bora?
Justin, was it
I just talked to Bora and she lost her connection, so that's why we're having trouble on this end. If you can still bring up that PowerPoint on your end, that would be great.
I apologize. I am trying to locate that as well. Just one moment.
You have to love the irony of a presentation about technology having so many technology glitches.
Yes,
Okay.
Justin,
Thank you.
I lost it.
Let's have you, so Amanda, you're okay. You just need to steal the presentation from Bora. So just take it from Bora back to you. And you'll grab her little circle and I'm gonna remote you, Amanda, real quick. And then Marion, where did you want us to begin?
Under the resources.
So that one is my presentation.
And we got a copy of your other one. Did we get a copy of Maryland's?
It was the same one that was on before that Bora and Joanne had.
Yes, it was the one that Bora was showing. My understanding was that you did have it there.
Yeah, let me. And I think we've lost Bora. You're not there anymore, right, Bora? You can't hear us?
She doesn't show.
Marilyn, okay, hold on.
So while we're working this out, we do still have access to our Q&A panel. So if anyone has any questions about what's been presented so far, or maybe even just expectations you had coming into this, any questions you wanted answered that we haven't gotten to thus far, please go ahead and drop those questions into the Q&A and we can access those and answer anything that comes in.
And Christina, you don't have a copy of the presentation, right? Is that right?
Right, I don't have a copy of up there. Oh, it looks like we've got Bora back.
Hi, Bora. We'll have you unmute yourself at the very bottom.
I'm so sorry. I will share the screen. I'm using my hotspot.
Oh, we'll have Amanda re-give you the host role, please, Amanda.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, that looks perfect.
Thank you for your patience and your understanding. Marilyn, do you want to take on?
I will. I really appreciate everyone hanging in there with us. So these are just some resources for people to stay engaged and also to learn if they want. One is through NERIC, and they have social media guides, assistive technology. They've got a lot of classes, support groups, also online art galleries people can tour, and the Smithsonian. Another was done by ACL on engaging virtually, and that's got a list of museums that people can access online, national parks they can go through online, zoos, social media, all these are online and learning. And there's just some examples of the webcams there that you can see what's happening at different zoos. If we could go to the next slide, please. Actually went one too far. If we could go back, please. Actually, that other way. One more. That's it. Perfect. Thank you. So the University of Utah, sorry, it was the other one. One more forward. That's it. Thank you. University of Utah has a number of different classes and many are free. They've got Lunch to Learn, they've got Lifelong Learning, they've got Osher. So there's a lot of opportunities. You don't have to live in Salt Lake to do that. You can join anywhere. There's also many different online courses. Coursera has thousands of courses. They link with different universities. Again, many are free. EDX is another one, and Senior Planet. So there's lots of different options for your seniors or yourself if you want to take classes online. There's also a lot of exercises and fitness apps. There's over 100 free online workshops. These are all in the handout that we have. And then meditation apps, there's many free. Some of the more popular are SoundCloud, Insight Timer, etc. So check out the handout and you can find links for all of the things that we've mentioned.
Hi, yes, this is 5 minutes left in the session.
Thank you. Next slide, please.
With the COVID-19 vaccination accessibility for seniors. So in this presentation, we thought it would be good to go over some of the barriers seniors face when getting their vaccination. So first one is transportation. A lot of seniors rely on family, friends, or caregivers to get to the clinics. However, seniors without reliable support are missing out on getting to the location. The other part is that seniors who can drive or who can get other people to drive them are able to travel to different locations where vaccines are available, sometimes traveling to another city, right? However, those without private transportation have shown challenges in getting their shots. So for example, residents who are living independently in senior apartments were overlooked in the beginning, but they are now included with on-site vaccination. However, for those individuals who are homebound, for seniors who are not residents of those senior apartments, they have some obstacles to overcome. They also have health-related issues that limit them from getting out of bed and leaving their homes, which makes it difficult to get to vaccine location. And again, social and emotional support is missing for many homebound seniors. So they need someone who can help them engage with the health care system and get the vaccines. The other aspect is technology. As you can see, we are having challenges with technology. If you lose your internet connection, there's no access to have that support. So some seniors have been locked out due to a lack of access to computers, smartphones, and web-based appointment signups. The other aspect is scheduling an appointment. A lot of times seniors pointed out that this was also difficult due to lack of staff answering the phones. And another part that I want to mention is cultural related issues. Language, culture, and technology can keep people in the highest risk groups for seniors from getting their vaccines. Especially for minority communities, there are more barriers to access, including teaching seniors how to use computers to sign up for an appointment in their own language, debunking misinformation, and convincing them to get the vaccines. So there's cultural related issues about vaccine itself, and fake news that people spread on social media made it a little bit challenging. And the other part is access to translators on site to receive information in their language. So they may have questions that they need answers right away, but oftentimes that is not provided. So here is the checklist that we need to consider to reduce access barriers. And thankfully, Utah is doing such a great job. Many healthcare providers are doing this to provide as much help as possible. So they bring vaccine to an individual through mobile clinics. In Utah, there are pop-up clinics at churches, and health officials are working with clergy members to communicate information about vaccines to congregants. And the other good news that I heard today is that Uber and Lyft, they will take individuals to the vaccine sites for free starting May 24th to July 4th. And for appointments, especially for individuals who would like to make appointments over the phone, it would be good to reserve slots that can be made by phone. In the beginning phase, especially the county that I live in, many online appointments were booked really quickly. So oftentimes internet access to make appointments are challenging for some individuals. So this would help securing that spot. The other part is offer vaccine education, provide public health messaging that are culturally and linguistically appropriate, educate about potential side effects, and also why it is important to be vaccinated. And also make vaccine sites more physically, sensory, cognitively, technologically easy of access. So think about how you arrange the clinic, whether they are located inside or outside, so that there is easier access for people with limited mobility and those who use wheelchairs. And also provide a private space, provide more time for individuals to get ready, and also provide clear information about the procedure and use plain language. I've been to different mobile clinics that were set up for specific minority communities. Although this benefits so many individuals, having this specific resource is challenging for some seniors because a lot of this information is spread on social media. So we need to find alternative ways to disseminate information. Lastly, this might be slightly outdated because I grabbed this information at the end of April. As you can see here, this is the data on people who received at least one dose by age. Individuals who are 70 and over 75% are fully vaccinated, and over 85% of seniors over 70 received their first dose. As you can see, the younger generations has a lower rate of getting their vaccines, and it is perhaps due to the barriers that we have discussed. So we just want to go through this vaccine accessibility too, so that a lot of people are aware of what's going on and how we can improve receiving those information and vaccination too.
Great. Thank
So
you so much. Yeah, go ahead, Bora.
Yeah, so lastly, this is available, like Jolene mentioned, this is on our box folder. So if anybody wants to have more resources, click on the link. Then you have enormous handouts, information that's available for you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, unfortunately, we're out of time, so we won't have time for any questions, but we really appreciate the Utah Assistive Technology Program helping us today, as well as 5 County. You shared some really great information, and thanks everyone being patient with our technology challenges. But so we're going to be ending this session now, but thanks for joining us. And our last session of today's Utah Elder Justice Conference will start at 2:30. So join your next session in about 10 minutes.